Hello, Grapperinos, and welcome to another exciting episode of Probably Next Week on Smackdown. I'm Bryon, and once again joined by Mike McAfee. I can't think of anything. Say hi, Mike.
Bryon, do
Mi-
I give you bad advice, Bryon? Would you say that I am a giver of bad advice?
what? What is this about? What is this about bad advice? Is this about Pat McAfee again?
I don't know if you were there on Monday, but apparently, because we just haven't pandered enough to the Gooners, Bryon. Apparently, we haven't done enough pandering to the Gooners.
Oh!
We have
Okay.
decided that the best step forward to bring viewers back to this company is to try and make Liv Morgan into the Temu Britney Spears.
Yeah!
Certainly a choice. That's all I have to say about it. Because
I mean,
she cannot sing. Good lord. I mean, I mean, they showed the whole music video on the show too, which was crazy. It's a 3-hour wrestling show. We're gonna show music videos now. Like,
yeah,
what are we doing?
yes.
What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, what better way to market your feud with Stephanie Vaquer than to release a music video? I mean, I don't know what else they could do with her because apparently she suffered from a head injury, as you said last week, but certainly not a music video, that's for sure. I mean, you get your head bumped by Stephanie Vaquer, and then the next week you're on a fucking music video? Like, what is that about? That's
It
kind of
must have
weird.
been a serious concussion if, like, after she got bonked in the head, she was like, I'm going to become the next Britney Spears. And people
It's
were
some
like,
head
yeah, let's
injury.
run with that. Let's go with that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we are 2 days. I think it's 2 days from the time we record this episode. So, 2 days until WrestleMania. Do you feel the hype? Do you feel the excitement of WrestleMania? I do not. And we are. And we are kind of. I don't know. We're kind of like eh. We're kind of like on this year's Mania. I mean, last year we had John Cena to look forward to, and a couple of matches as well. But seems like this year they just want to, turn up the celebrities, turn up the terrible build, and they let's just say they're reaping what they're sowing. All right, they're getting less people in there than last year's Mania, which I think was like 60,000, or was it like 50,000 last year? Something around that, but this year it's 40,000, or even slightly lower than 40,000 this year. So, yeah, that's what you get when you build terribly for your biggest event of the year. This is like, I don't know, when no one is hyped about the Super Bowl because it's safe or something like that. But anyway, all we can do here in this show is try to predict what they're going to do for the go home show for this year's WrestleMania. And we do it on this show where we predict and book the next episode of Friday Night SmackDown according to these rules, which are probably going to change a bit after WrestleMania. Let's be fair. After that, we will basically watch the next episode as it comes out, and we will score our predictions and bookings as done by this scoring system, which will also change after WrestleMania. So look forward to that, I guess, as we head into the new season. And yeah, we are going to tell you what we got on the next episode of this show, which is I don't know when, but we are going to go on a little break. That's all I know. Yeah, so that's how it works. Let's get to the points. I have 7.5. And it is all about the appearances for that. I got Cody, Pat, Randy, Bailey, Alexa, Rhea, Jade, Io, Tamatonga, Sammy, and Trick appearing on the show. I didn't get any of the winners correct. I also did not get any of the matches that I predicted across. So there you go. What about you, Mike?
Yes, I got appearances from Bailey and Lyra plus I think it was Charlexa. I got appearances from Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, Jelly Roll. I got the winner of Royce Keys' match correct. And that was about it.
Yeah. Oh, I think I forgot about Royce Keys appearing. Oh well, whatever. Whatever. We're probably gonna wipe the score after WrestleMania anyway, so it probably won't matter. Whatever. Who cares? Like WWE's attitude now. Who cares? We'll move on to what is announced for this go home show to WrestleMania. We got MFT and the Wyatt Six. Hopefully, this is the last we will see of this feud, but who knows? MFT versus Wyatt Six in an 8-man street fight and an Andre the Giant Battle Royal, as always, for these go home shows to WrestleMania. So, without further ado, let's book this thing. Get to my version of the show first. As Drew McIntyre walks to the ring, he talks about his match against Jacob Fatu, which I think takes place on Saturday. Last week, he revealed the true Jacob Fatu. He says he is the criminal, the scoundrel, the person who deserves to be behind bars instead of the ring. This week, he will reveal more of Jacob. Now that he is not here, he is basically somewhere else, and Drew is able to basically talk about the real Jacob Fatu. However, Jacob comes out. He urges Drew McIntyre to tell him to his face what the real Jacob Fatu is. Drew then mentions Jacob's upbringing and criminal record to his face. He says that Jacob will always be a failure. He will always be a criminal. He will always be someone on the bottom rung of the ladder. At WrestleMania, he will lay to rest the real Jacob Fatu in this undisclosed match, or whatever the hell it's called. Unsanctioned. He then mentions that the person who cost Drew his chance to keep the undisputed WWE Championship will be laid to rest, and that he will get back to the top and beat Randy or Cody, whoever holds it, for that championship. Jacob says it won't happen because he's right, about Jacob's past, but he is wrong about Jacob's future. At WrestleMania, he will beat Drew with everything he learned from his journey, everything he gained. And after the dust is settled, after the unsanctioned match is done, Jacob will fit in when he get in. You know what I mean? Drew initiates a brawl with Jacob, and they again brawl around the ring. Security pour out to try to separate them, and they do so, but Drew manages to get a chair. He smashes it on Jacob's back. Jacob hulks up. He does not take that as a bump. He gets a kendo stick. He retaliates at Drew McIntyre while the rest of the security try to separate them again. The two continue to brawl backstage, where Drew is on top by the time the brawl is over, and security separates both of them successfully. So, as much as I want Drew to win the unsanctioned match at WrestleMania, I think that Jacob should be given a chance here to get to the top spot with Randy and Cody. I think we should push, or at least try an experiment with Jacob. I think we've done the Drew McIntyre kind of main event thing twice. I feel like it's time to, bring in someone new. I think it's time for Jacob to be on top. Let's push him to that spot with Randy and Cody. Let's put him at the main event spot. Let's see what he can do. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work, right? But at least it's an experiment. So I want that to happen. Drew can, just linger on the mid card. I know that's kind of not great, but I think Drew can still kind of linger on the mid card a little more until the whole situation between Randy, Cody, and Jacob is settled. And then we can get Drew back there on the main event spot, and there you go. I guess we can probably have Drew get the title when he goes up against Jacob again. But I don't know. I feel like it's time that we need Jacob Fatu to kind of spice up the main event scene a little bit. That's what I'm saying. Moving on to the street fight between the Wyatt Six and the MFT. And I will have the Wyatt Six win by pinfall due to Tama Tonga turning on the MFT. Yes, I will have Tama Tonga turn on the NFT Did I just say NFT? MFT in this episode. After the match, Solo argues with Tama some more, but Tama eventually walks away with the rest of the MFT. Looking back, I think this leads to Tama leaving the group to team up with Shinsuke Nakamura later in the year, and both of them will try to get those tag team championships from Damian Priest and R-Truth. This is what has become of the tag team championships. We're just, putting up makeshift tag teams. But it is what it is, I guess. Screw the Motor City Machine Guns. Kinda sad, but whatever. Next, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Bayley take on the Irresistible Forces and Brie Bella in a 6-woman tag team match. This is to build up, once again, the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Tag Team Championship at WrestleMania. I will have the heels, that's Irresistible Forces and Brie Bella, win by pinfall. After the match, all of the teams brawl against each other, but the Irresistible Forces come out on top. I think I am sticking with Lyra and Bayley for the win here. At WrestleMania, I think, again, as I said before, both of them could benefit from the win more so than the other teams. If the Irresistible Forces win, I will groan. If the Bellas win, I will be befuddled. So, there you go. Moving on, Rhea Ripley talks about her match against Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. She says she beat up her lackeys last week because they're easy, just like Jade. At WrestleMania, she will do the same thing that she did to her minions and prove that she's the only woman to carry the SmackDown Women's Division on her back for the rest of the year. She's then interrupted, perhaps forever. She is then interrupted by Jade Cargill, who says, "Fair play, you beat Michin and BFAB, and I commend you for that." But Jade is on another level. She will show her true self at WrestleMania, and Rhea won't like it because Jade will be the one to carry the title when the dust is settled. A storm is coming, she finishes, and Rhea better be prepared for it. Rhea says she is, and she's got a head start, so why not lengthen this gap a little more? She punches Jade and beats her down. BFAB and Michin come down to help Jade and Rhea fence them off easily, but it's set up for that good old Jaded, and Jade leaves the ring with the title happy along with her minions. I think Rhea is going to win, though. I do hope so, because if Jade wins, then we will have another female faction with Jade as the leader. And oh boy, this faction is not going to do well. I'm going to tell you that right now. If we are planning a faction with Jade, BFAB, and Michin, it's not going to work. I'm sorry. It's not. We'll move on to the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. So, it's a bit of a weird kind of pick when it comes to these, because you never really know who is going to win. It's kind of a bit unpredictable. I know that Carmelo Hayes won last year in the Battle Royal. So, and Carmelo Hayes became a champion afterward. After that Battle Royal, so at least there was something there for the winner. So I feel that the winner of the Battle Royal should be someone who, is going to be a future champion. And I think it's going to be Royce Keys. It could be Danhausen. If they choose Danhausen, I would be laughing my ass off, to be fair. But if they do pick Danhausen, I wouldn't be that mad. But I don't think Danhausen will win. He's probably going to get some spots, some comedy-laden spots, and that's it. But I think if we are talking about, in actual, who is the winner, then I think that Royce Keys will be the winner of this Battle Royal. There really isn't anyone else. I mean, you could give it to Rey Fenix, but Rey Fenix hasn't really done much in a while. You could also get, some other folks in there, maybe an Apollo Crews, maybe a Kate Wilson or something like that, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I think Royce Keys is going to win. Simple as that. We'll move on to Trick Williams versus Rey Fenix. I guess forget that Battle Royal and what I said about Rey and Trick. But anyway, this is to build up Sammy versus Trick. We'll have a backstage segment or whatever, where Trick offends Rey, and Rey's like, "Yo, let's get in the match. Let's get in the ring, settle the score." And Trick says, "Bet." And that's how we get this match. Trick wins by pinfall. After the match, Trick beats up Ray Phoenix some more, but is saved by the good old face that everyone loves to root for, Sami Zayn. Sami and Trick brawl around the ring, and Sami ends up on top, holding the title and raising it above Trick's body as the segment ends. No, there will be no Lil Yachty. Shut up. So I think either a double turn needs to happen at WrestleMania, or I think that Trick needs to win. I think people are turning on Sami Zayn. I think people are portraying him as a heel, or they just don't like Sami Zayn as a champion because he held down Carmelo Hayes by beating Carmelo Hayes twice. So I think people hate Sami Zayn, and I think either you need to make Sami a heel and then turn Trick into a babyface, or, you know, just take the title off of Sami, because I don't think that Sami having that title is just going to work with the amount of people that are turning on Sami. I know how desperate they can be with trying to get Sami over. Unfortunately, I think the time is not now to make Sami, you know, kind of the champion for a long time and have people kind of, you know, try to get behind that. You won't be able to. I think people have enough reason to hate Sami right now, and as I said, they either need to make Sami a bad guy or just give it to Trick right now, and then we'll have Carmelo versus Trick at SummerSlam. So that is what I think will happen. I think Trick or Sami needs to turn, you know, double turn, or, you know, give it to Trick so we can set up Carmelo versus Trick at SummerSlam. So there you go. We end up with a Cody Rhodes promo for the main event. He talks about how WrestleMania is tomorrow, which makes sense because, you know, Friday Night Smackdown and all. There's no time like the present to talk about Randy Orton and what he has done to his friend, Jelly Roll. He says he doesn't matter now because he will have to defend the title by himself at WrestleMania with no friend by his side, and Randy Orton, obviously, with Pat McAfee. He talks about why the match is important for him and his family's relationship with Randy Orton and his family. You know, what should have been done in the first freaking place before we brought on Pat fucking McAfee. He says that all the voices in his head are telling him to save WrestleMania and professional wrestling from its death. And all he has to do is to defeat Randy Orton and get Pat McAfee out of this place forever. He is then interrupted by Randy Orton, who says that he attacked Jelly Roll to get at Cody's head, that it was the voices in Randy's head telling him to attack everything Cody loves, including his friend, Jelly the Roll. At WrestleMania, he will do whatever is necessary to get number 15. Number 15 is what he wants, and that will be Randy's legacy to carry towards his future. Cody's family and Randy's family may have had their friendships and differences over the years, but there can only be one wrestling family in this scenario, and that is the Orton family. Cody is then attacked from behind by Pat McAfee, who continues to beat him up. Randy then helps Pat. He raises Cody up, and he does an RKO, kind of like how Aleister Black does a Black Mass setup, and then he does the Black Mass. Same thing for Randy Orton. Kind of an uneventful RKO. It's not surprising, but you know, it carries the heel moniker well, I guess. He gets Cody's title. He lifts it up to the crowd. He tosses it back to Cody's body as the show goes off the air. So, a lot of people are expecting Randy to win by this point. And sure, but something tells me that there might be a double turn coming up. I feel that there might be, and I may be wrong here. I'm kind of revisiting my theory from last week. I think The Rock may show up. I could be wearing a conspiratorial hat here, but The Rock showing up at WrestleMania, whereas he didn't show up last year, could be a play right now. Considering the TKO mentions, it would make sense, but I think that I wouldn't be surprised if they went with Cody Rhodes, just because of the whole, you know, let's usher in Pat McAfee on here and ruin everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to put it, you know, on Cody for the win. But I feel like a double turn is coming, and We're probably gonna see Randy Orton turn on Pat McAfee. We're probably gonna see Pat McAfee, siding with Cody, I guess, because of that. And Jelly Roll, might might switch places and be Randy Orton's friend. With the whole double turn. I don't know. I don't know what happens here, but I feel like if Cody wins, then I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to do so. But I am still leaning toward a Randy win. But if Cody does win, I think it will set up Cody and Jelly Roll versus Randy Orton and Pat McAfee at Backlash. Or we could just have Jelly Roll versus Pat McAfee at Backlash. I hope not. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting or I guess odd situation. But I feel like Randy will win here. Hopefully. Anyway, any questions?
Yes. So, what do you think happens to the people that are not featured on WrestleMania, namely the Women's U.S. title, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions? The SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Where do you think they go after this? Also, EO, who also is featured and was, featured last year as well.
Put him in the Battle Royal.
Nice.
Just put him in the Battle Royal. You know who also isn't featured? I guess that would be the Women's U.S. Champion, Giulia. So I heard that there was going to be a match at WrestleMania, which is a triple threat for the Women's U.S. title, where Giulia defends against Jordynne Grace and or Tiffany Stratton. So it's Tiffany Stratton versus Jordynne Grace versus Giulia for the U.S. title at WrestleMania. Guess what happened? They canceled it.
Yeah,
they canceled it.
Been injured. Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of sucks. But just put him in the Battle Royal. I feel like that's always a solution for people who are not going to be in WrestleMania. Just put him in the Battle Royal. Just put him there. You have like, I don't know, 30 people for a Battle Royal, right? So they can jam in a lot of wrestlers that they don't use, like Los Garza or Apollo Crews or like Damian Priest. Put him in there. I also wouldn't be surprised if Damian Priest wins, but I feel Royce Keys is going to be what they pick here, considering his future. I guess I don't know.
So I have a proposed drinking game for WrestleMania for those of you who are so inclined. I just came up with this right now, actually.
Okay.
Which shows you how poorly booked this WrestleMania is. Every time a celebrity is shown on screen, you take a sip. If a celebrity gets involved in a match, you finish your drink. There you go.
Wow. Oh, this is just WrestleMania only, right? You're not talking about the okay.
Not the pre-show, nothing. Just to trade up the show. By the way, I saw. I don't know if this is real. You know who will be singing the national anthem or whatever the fuck they do before the show?
Yeah.
Nick Jonas.
What? Seriously?
Like this is 2008.
Oh my god. We are regressing at this point. we went from Bad Bunny to freaking Nick Jonas in the start of WrestleMania, really? Man, I guess we're running out of ideas for which celebrities to bring. But oh well. Hey, if Vince McMahon appears, take 10 shots.
If Vince McMahon appears, you basically drink the whole case of beer. You have fun. Finish the rest of your drinks that you have for the drinking game. Don't actually do that. You might die.
I know this won't happen, but watch there be a segment where Triple H is like, doing his stuff like Welcome to WrestleMania, and then he is interrupted by a video from Shane McMahon. He's like the contract may state that Triple H owns WWE, but the sign on whatever he said with the WCW thing. All right, that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, he's taking over WWE. That's what I'm trying to say here. Okay, that Shane McMahon is taking over WWE. I want that so bad. Just if we're ripping off a bunch of WCW angles, all right, let's just rip that off too, okay? Let's just rip off the company takeover angle, okay? Let's put Shane back in, say say that WWE is now owned by Shane McMahon. We got a little civil war going here, you know what I'm saying? Nah. Anyway, any questions before I lose my mind?
No, I think I'm just about ready to get to my card.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to your card then. Starting off with?
I start off with a Cody Rhodes promo. You don't need to change the slide. So Cody comes out with Jelly Roll in tow, and he is here to kick off WrestleMania weekend. He asks people in the audience what they want to talk about, and Cody is interrupted by Triple H. Triple H comes out and tells Cody they need to have a chat, and it is about Pat McAfee. So, if you saw last night, or this morning actually, on ESPN, but last night on Twitter, Pat McAfee posted the video, and the video is of Cody and Jelly Roll going into Pat's studio and fucking his shit up. Yes, this is real. It actually happened, according to Pat McAfee.
This is like the second stream invasion. The first one was iShowSpeed, but anyway.
So they basically went to a studio and broke a bunch of shit. And then Pat had like a thing this morning. He's like, you came in here and they committed a criminal act. And it's like, Pat, they just like turned over a couple of chairs and like hit your photo of Randy Orton, man. It's not that big of a deal. Like all the stuff on his desk is like not still there except for the one thing that was meant to be broken. Anyway, so Triple H tells Cody, you need to calm down. You need to stop. This has gone too far with Pat McAfee. You need to focus on who, is your actual opponent, Randy Orton. And you need to remember how important you are to this company. We're setting seats here. So basically, Triple H glazes Cody. And then Randy Orton comes out with Pat McAfee in tow, who also has a bunch of cops with him. Pat McAfee comes down. And he tells Triple H, you should get out of the way before I threaten to get Dude Wipes to knock off another 25% of the ticket price. If you forget, last week, it wasn't McAfee's good graces. It was Dodge Ram who paid to pay for the 25%, which meant there was a sponsored segment. So here we go again. Then he tells Cody to get down here so they can arrest him and bring him back to the station for destruction of personal property. Cody says, if you want him, come and get him. They both get in the ring. A brawl starts. Triple H tries to break them up along with the cops. Cody is able to get Pat McAfee in the crossroads, and he hits the crossroads on top of the belt, and he stands over Pat McAfee as Randy Orton is held back outside of the ring by a bunch of cops and Triple H. So, I think that Randy goes over at Mania. I think he has a bit of a heelish run because, that's good for him. I think that Cody maybe takes it back at SummerSlam, where he then turns heel. I think that Pat McAfee, seeing that the business is quote-unquote saved, maybe goes out after a feud at Backlash. Maybe he gets involved and then gets taken out and then he leaves. Who knows? But I think Randy wins. I think Randy needs a turn with the belts. I think Cody's gotten a bit stale. So, yeah. There you go.
Okay. So, are you saying that we are going to have this sort of faction between Randy and Pat McAfee here? And do you think that Jelly Roll will sort of intervene at WrestleMania here? I know he was laid out last week, but do you think Jelly Roll shows up at Mania, or?
Yeah, I think he gets involved in the match. Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Again, take a shot. No, I do you suppose that I laid out the backlash match as Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes again, but with celebrities in a tag team match. Do you think that happens, or are you gravitating towards just Pat versus Jelly Roll and I don't know, Cody and Randy can be in a different match or something?
No, I think it is a tag team match. That gives Randy some more time to hold the belt, I think. And maybe that's the point where Pat is written off TV. And then Randy can go off and be his own champion. Because right now it feels like the Pat McAfee show with Randy Orton when I'm going to quote Pat McAfee himself that Randy Orton is here. It's supposed to be about Randy Orton, but it just feels like it's about Pat McAfee with Randy Orton. So.
The show is so much better when Randy Orton is here. Tickets are not selling out when Randy Orton is here, guys. Oh man, what a great promo from Pat. Anyway, that was sarcastic. Moving on to
the 8-man street fight. I predicted this a couple of months back when we started this fucking feud that they were going to end this probably in a street fight at the Go Home show.
What was this, like a year ago?
I think probably like 6 months ago. They were going to end this as a street fight, probably on the Go Home show. And thus, it is true. I am very good at this show, but only
sorry, it's an 8-man, not a 6-man. I made a mistake earlier, but okay.
I think I didn't take into account the additions of the tall Tongan. So, whose name is Tala, because he's tall.
Yep.
Anyway, I think that the Wyatt Six win this one. My notes for this match are as follows. Fuck it, just end this feud already. So, I think the MFT lose. Tama Tonga breaks free of the MFT. He is saved by Shinsuke Nakamura. And that is how this ends. So, I think that the rest of Solo's fungible tokens are redeemed and they are cut after WrestleMania. Maybe JC Mateo. I think the only one that stays is probably the other Tongan, not Tama Tonga. Tongaloa. Thank you. Tongaloa. He stays. Yeah. And I remember it because I go Tama Tonga and then the other guy's name is Tongaloa. So it's like Tama Tonga, Tongaloa.
Yep. What a tongue twister.
I am. Anyway, so yeah, I think the rest of them will let go after WrestleMania. Solo can hopefully go on and do his own thing because he actually is a very entertaining character. He's sort of like a comedy guy. So hopefully he can get a little bit more meaningful work by himself. So
yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think Solo has kind of like deteriorated a bit with this feud, and I would probably say the same for the MFT. So, as you said, hopefully this feud is over by the time this is over. I swear to God, if there's another match between the two teams, I'm going to lose my mind. But anyway, we'll move on from that to
Tiffany Stratton promos. Tiffany comes out and says the people showed up tonight because they wanted to watch Tiffany at WrestleMania. Unfortunately, that won't happen because Giulia is too pussy to show up. She is a bitch. We're going to use adult words because this is an adult show. We are in Vegas. Giulia shows up with Kiana James. A shouting match starts in the ring. Nick Aldis comes down to break it up, and he books this match here and now.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll move on to that match now.
It is the women's U.S. title match, Tiffany versus Giulia. I think Tiffany takes this one. She wins it via pinfall after a miscommunication between Giulia and Kiana James. If the original plan was to do Jordynne Grace versus these two in a three-way, cool, but Jordynne Grace is not here right now, and we need to do something with this belt. And I think this is how we get it on to Tiffany. And you can do Tiffany versus Jordynne Grace at Backlash or whenever Jordynne Grace is ready to do work again, I guess. So
Yeah. Okay. So, oh, you're saying Tiffany retains? Or, sorry, gets it?
yes, yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. Where do you think Giulia goes then?
Back to the in mid card, I guess. I mean, she hasn't done shit with the belts, unfortunately.
Okay.
Um, I could go on Cage Match right now and look up how many times she's defended the belt on TV. I think it's probably 3 or 4
Three.
since she's had it. 3 or 4 since she's had it.
Fantastic. What a great title reign. Yeah. Yeah, I do hope that Jordan Grace does return at a later date because honestly, I think the original idea for the US title match for the women at WrestleMania seems great, but unfortunately, they have to cancel it and we have to make way for Pat McAfee and I Show Speed and those other celebrities, they're way more important, so
It really feels like they've tried to fill the void of the talent. Because like if you look at some of the feuds that should have been on here, you had this feud which was killed because Jordan Grace got injured. You had the Bloodline feud, which not Bloodline, fucking Jesus, the Vision that got killed because the Vision died in a plane crash. You had Seth Rollins again, part of the Vision.
yeah.
You had the who else was fucking Rey Mysterio versus Gunther,
Yeah.
right? And you can say that this build has been shit because of all the injuries and they've had to work around it. Okay, you have another like 2/3 of the roster you can use for these feuds. Instead, you're going out and getting Jelly Roll, Pat McAfee, I Show Speed to fill holes that you have talent to fill. Like if you're gonna book a random celebrity to come out and support Randy Orton, like why not just give that spot to like I don't know, in Matt Cardona or something? I mean, sure, Matt Cardona is only here because Triple H hates him and he wants to bury him, and he's just a jobber at this point. He's not even a golden jobber; he's just a jobber.
No,
Like,
just
my
a
guy is just
jobber.
fucking losing.
We gotta have a period where we shit on him because he worked the indies, and that's and maybe next year that's when we let him win. But for
I
now,
mean,
he's on
maybe
a
he gets
losing
paid a
streak.
lot of money. Maybe he gets paid a lot of money.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine.
he gets paid a lot losing. That's what a way to get a paycheck, I guess.
If someone was like, "Yeah, man, if you go out there and sell for fucking Akira Tozawa and we'll pay you 10 grand," I'd be like, "Yeah, sure, buddy. Sounds good to me."
Akira Tozawa is still in the roster.
I think so.
Okay, well, I maybe we'll see him in the Battle Royal. I don't know. I Akira Tozawa has not popped up in my mind until now. I thought he was gone from this roster, but okay. Well, anyway.
According to Smackdown Hotel, he is still there. So
Okay, great. Good to know. We'll see him in the Battle Royal. Or not. I don't know. Maybe he's in catering. We'll move on from that too.
a Jacob Fatu promo. Jacob comes out and says that what Drew laid out last week could be true and may have some truth to it. But Jacob, unlike Drew, worked through it and made it out the other side. He calls Drew soft. He says that Drew doesn't know what it's like to have a tough upbringing. He calls him a posh bitch who said he was handpicked and groomed by this company, alluding to that Vince again picked Drew McIntyre because he looked good, I guess.
Yep, yep.
So Jacob says that he'll beat Drew's ass. Yeah, mean. And then Drew comes down, tries to claymore Jacob. Jacob's able to reverse it into a Samoan drop, and that is how this promo ends. I think that Jacob probably goes over here. Actually, I don't really know. I think this might end similar to how they ended Austin versus Rikishi, where like no one really won except Rikishi was like kayfabe killed. Or no, sorry, Austin versus no, that's right. I was thinking of Austin versus Triple H, where you like fucking kill them in the car. No,
Yeah.
like where he like Rikishi, like no one really wins, but they do beat the piss out of each other. So I
I
think
did
that's
it
kind of
for The
how
Rock.
this wins.
Is that the one?
I did, yeah, I did it for The Rock.
For I did it for the people. Okay, all right. So you think Jacob wins? Okay, fair enough. Do you think this is, after this, Jacob kind of moves up to Cody and Randy, or do you think he kind of lingers on in the mid card
Yeah,
and
I think whoever wins this probably gets another shot at the title. Again, I don't think Jacob wins. I think that it probably ends in like similar to how the other, no
yeah?
conflict. Basically, they
Okay.
both beat the tar out of each other, and no one really wins. It's just a fucking fight. I could actually see a very interesting booking here, where basically what happens is, they go backstage, they fight for like 10 minutes, and then they go into like some other section of the fucking arena, and then the cameras are like, "All right, well, fuck, we got another match going on," and it's like one of the lower card
Oh,
matches, and then they come back out while the other match is happening, and they're still fucking beating the piss out of
that.
each other.
Oh, okay.
I could see that happening. Yeah, I think this is how
Nice.
it's going to be
Yeah,
booked,
yeah, yeah.
kind of. So
That would be interesting. That's for sure. I thought you were gonna say that. I don't know if you remember this, but there was like a spot. It could be in the WCW show where like the two wrestlers were fighting on the rooftop, and then just like both of them like kind of fall from the rooftop. Was that WCW back then?
I think that was WCW Halloween Havoc 95. It was when Hogan, or 96. It was when Hogan fought the Giant, and the Giant fell off a fucking building. and,
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say that.
and he fell off the fucking building, and they sold it like Hogan had fucking killed this dude. But then he just walks down the ramp completely fine. Nothing happened to him.
The magic of WCW booking, everybody.
And they were like, I think this was in it was obviously in some American city. And they were like, "Oh, he fell in the river." And then someone who was commentating on the show in post was like, "Well, the building is like fucking 400 feet from the river. It's not even close. He would have
Oh my
died."
god.
So
Well, there you go. I guess he's a superhero or something. Anyway, we'll move on from that too.
Rio versus Michin and B-Fab. So this is your typical build before WrestleMania. We're going to put the heels against the faces, and whoever loses goes over at the show. So I think Michin and B-Fab win this one thanks to Jade getting involved, and Rhea is going over at Mania. I think that Rhea probably holds it for a little bit before dropping it to maybe a returning Bianca Belair or Naomi.
Okay. Yeah, I did not think about Naomi as well. I hope she does show up. Could be showing up at WrestleMania or at the end of the year for sure.
Let's see. When did she leave? Because she was preggo, so you can kind of do the
Yes.
math if you want to.
I think that was like you want to do the math, yes. No, what, November last year?
Yeah, November.
October?
So yeah, okay. So that'd be like what? 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So like, so she'll probably be back around. I would say probably Survivor Series. Usually it's like about a year, total for like, when someone is on maternity leave, it's usually a few months, but like they're fully probably recovered in a year. I would say she'd be back for like Survivor Series. That sounds about right, and it makes sense
Yeah.
timing wise. To have her come back at Survivor Series. So I'd say a year is fine. Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense to me.
Yeah. All right. So you think Rhea is winning the match at WrestleMania, correct? If so, where does this lead Io Sky? I guess she would be without a partner, right? Maybe Kyrie's
I think
name?
she can go back on Raw to fight the winner of the Vaquer and Liv Morgan match, which I want to be Stephanie Vaquer because the way that they've been booking Liv Morgan recently has been complete and utter cringe. But seeing as they gave her a fucking music video, I think we all know who's going over in that match.
Yep.
So I assume that Io will take her on. So
Trouble, trouble. That's her. Okay, so okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
it's not
Um,
even like she's as good as Britney Spears, Brian, because like at least Britney Spears, had talent to be
yeah.
like a singer slash performer.
I don't know. That could be her WrestleMania entrance, Mike. Maybe we're
It
we're
probably it
giving
probably
her.
is it probably is her new entrance music, man.
Yeah.
I forget what some of the comments were. There was one that was like, I just got secondhand concussion from this music video.
Yeah. No, I looked at the comments too, and they were all pretty negative. That's for sure. Well, there were some that were like, let's go live, whatever. But most of them were pretty negative. That's for sure. Okay. What do you think of this faction between Jade, Michin, and BFAB? Do you think this is going to last? Like, I know they
Um,
kind of did it out of nowhere because there was no logical reason to this, but do you see
yeah, it
some?
does.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any logical sense, considering that Jade beat the piss out of these two for a couple of weeks. It's some sort of Stockholm syndrome shit. This definitely is some WCW shit where it's like, we need to build up to a pay-per-view, and we don't have any woman heels on the roster to put up against the face that isn't the main competitor. So what do we do? Well, we have these two that are mid-carders. Yeah, but they were feuding with the other heel for 2 weeks. Well, bro, I don't know. Swerve, bro, swerve.
Swerve.
And this is how we arrived here.
Yeah.
They needed to give some people to feed to Rhea, and these are the only two women heels in the mid card that are not involved with anything else. So that's the only reason why they're here, and that's the only reason why they'll continue to exist until Rhea gets the title back, and we're done with this fucking story.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. We'll move on to.
Main event, Andre the Giant Battle Royale. I don't think this should be the main event because I realize they never do this for the main event. Who wins this one? Could be basically anyone. There are a few candidates you can pick from. Typically, they give it to someone who, uh, you know, is up and coming, who hasn't won a belt yet on the main roster, typically a call up. So this could be, and usually someone who's been featured on TV a couple of times, really hasn't done a whole lot. So, like Brian said, this could be a Ray Phoenix. This could be, El Grande Americano. This could even be Rusev, but I think Rusev is involved in a match at Mania. Yeah, he is already. Um, this could be Aleister Black. This could be Ilya Dragunov, though he's already had a belt. This could be Kit Wilson. Could even be Danhausen. Could even be Johnny Gargano. But I think it's going to go to Royce Keys. Why do I think it's going to Royce Keys? Not because Brian said it. It's because they debuted him last week. And the only reason they would debut him is because they were giving him the Battle Royale win. I know it was also in his hometown, but you know.
What? His hometown is Las Vegas?
No,
Oh, wait.
last
No,
week.
no, no. Yeah, 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 okay. I thought you were going to
We're
say
close enough.
Danhausen. I thought you were
Yeah.
going to say Danhausen was going to win the Battle Royal. Let's see. Or Kit Wilson, you know?
As much as it would be very funny for Danhausen to win the Battle Royale, I don't think he is because he doesn't need to get over. So
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that's it. I mean, what were you gonna put as the main event if there was another match, after that Battle Royal?
probably Rio versus Michin and BFAB.
Oh,
I
okay.
was gonna switch them.
Oh well.
So
All right, whatever. All right, well, that's all we got. As I said earlier, we are going to watch the next episode of SmackDown as it airs, and then we'll score our predictions and bookings. And I guess we'll come back here next time, maybe like a few weeks from now. I guess when WrestleMania is done and dusted, and we're heading on the road to Backlash, and that's when we'll come back. I suppose. I think that's reasonable. So we'll do just that. So until then, thank you so much for watching. Probably next week on SmackDown from Grapperinos. And remember, if you're down for some oven baked, crispy, fresh wrestling content, stop by Grapperinos and order yourself some content you can grapple with. See you next time, Grapperinos.